All right, today we're going to dive into a really groundbreaking piece of research from back in 2016 that pretty much rewrote the rules for video. We are talking about the ability to change what someone is saying in a video, not after hours of painful editing, but live, in real time. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. Imagine you're watching a video of anyone, really, a politician, a celebrity, and somebody else, using nothing more than a simple webcam, is controlling their face, live, making them say whatever they want. Well, in 2016, that idea jumped straight out of science fiction and into reality. Now, to really appreciate what a huge leap this was, you've got to understand the challenge they were up against. Before this paper came out, editing a face in a video, that was an incredibly slow, complex, and super expensive process. You know, the kind of thing reserved for big Hollywood special effects studios. Yeah, the old way was all slow, offline work. You needed specialized, pricey hardware, like those depth-sensing cameras. But the goal for these face-to-face researchers was the total opposite. They wanted to make it fast, make it live, and get it to work with a regular old webcam on a normal computer. I mean, that was the massive technical mountain they had to climb. And that brings us to the breakthrough. A 2016 paper called Face to Face that laid out a system that did exactly what seemed impossible. It was an absolute game changer for the world of computer vision. So, the core tech they developed has a name: facial reenactment. And it's a pretty good description of what's happening. You have a source actor, that's the person sitting in front of the webcam, and a target actor, who's the person in the video you want to manipulate. The system literally transfers the source's expressions right onto the target's face, blending it all in so it looks completely real. And the ultimate promise here wasn't some stuffy lab demo. No, the researchers wanted to let you take pretty much any video off the internet, say from YouTube, and let you drive that person's face with your own. That kind of accessibility, that was the real key here. So how on earth did they pull this off? I know. It sounds like some kind of magic, right? But it's actually a very clever 4-step recipe. So let's break it down. Okay, so first the system scans the target video and builds a 3D model of that person's face. Think of it like making a perfect digital clay mask. Second, it starts tracking the motion of both your face on the webcam and the original face in the video. Step 3 is where the magic happens, the transfer. Your expressions are translated and used to basically puppet that digital mask. And finally, the system renders that reanimated mask back into the original video. And it's smart enough to match the lighting perfectly so it all looks seamless. But there is one part of the human face that is notoriously hard to get right: the mouth. I mean, the teeth, the tongue, all those subtle movements, this is where most other attempts just fall apart and look totally fake. And the face-to-face team, well, they had an absolutely genius solution for it. You know, the researchers themselves point out the problem right in their paper. They say that previous methods would either try to just copy and paste the source actor's mouth onto the target, which looked awful, or they'd use a generic 3D model of teeth, which just never looked quite right. So the question becomes, how do you create a realistic mouth? And their solution was brilliant. Don't create a mouth at all. Instead, the system builds a library of all the mouth shapes the target person actually made in the original video. Then, when you make an expression, the system zips through that library, finds the best-fitting real mouth from the original footage, and seamlessly stitches it into place. And that is why the results were so stunningly convincing. The mouth isn't fake. It's the target's very own mouth, just resequenced to match the new performance. It keeps the person's unique teeth, their lip shape, everything. It just makes the final results incredibly lifelike. The performance and potential of this system, even way back in 2016, were just, frankly, astonishing. This wasn't just some proof of concept, it was a fully working, real-time system. Let's look at the numbers. On average, the system ran at over 28 frames per second, and that was on consumer hardware from that era. That's smooth, fluid, real-time video. This wasn't some overnight render. It was happening live, right as the source actor spoke. And the authors, they saw a whole host of positive applications for this. Imagine movies dubbed into other languages where the actors' lips match perfectly, or hyper-realistic avatars for VR and your video calls. They really saw this as a powerful new tool for communication and entertainment. And you know what? They were absolutely right. This one paper was a foundational moment. It really did lay the groundwork for so many of the deepfake and AI video generation tools that have become so widespread and powerful in the years since. What was cutting-edge research in 2016 is now the basis for apps we all have on our phones.
So we end with this question. If this level of real-time manipulation was possible years ago with just a simple webcam, what are the implications for us today? As this technology just keeps getting better and faster, it really forces us to rethink the very nature of video evidence and what it truly means to believe what we see.